It's Sunday night. The weekend is winding down and the quiet of the evening settles in. Your big presentation is due tomorrow. The pressure is mounting and the clock is ticking. You promised yourself you'd finish it over the weekend. You had grand plans to be productive. But here you are, staring at your computer screen, feeling anything but motivated. We've all been there, caught in the web of procrastination. That feeling of inertia can be overwhelming, especially when deadlines loom. The weight of unfinished tasks can feel like a mountain. Motivation is the energy that propels us forward, the driving force behind our actions. It's the spark that ignites our passion and determination. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning, even when the snooze button beckons. It pushes us to start our day with purpose. Without motivation, our goals remain elusive dreams. They stay as distant visions, never coming to fruition. But motivation isn't a constant state. It's not always there when we need it. It ebbs and flows, sometimes leaving us high and dry just when we need it most. These fluctuations are a natural part of the human experience. The good news is that we're not at the mercy of these motivational waves. We can take steps to manage and harness our motivation. By understanding how motivation works, we can learn to ride them effectively. We can develop strategies to keep ourselves moving forward, even when motivation wanes. Motivation is a complex beast, influenced by a myriad of factors, both internal and external. Psychologists often categorize motivation into two main types, intrinsic and extrinsic. Think of them as two different engines powering our actions. Extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards or pressures. These can be tangible, like a bonus at work, or intangible, like praise from a boss. While extrinsic motivators can be effective in the short term, they often lack staying power. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, comes from within. It's the joy of the activity itself, the satisfaction of mastering a skill, or the desire to make a difference. When we're intrinsically motivated, we're engaged, energized, and more likely to persevere through challenges. Imagine you're training for a marathon. The journey is long and arduous, requiring dedication and perseverance. An extrinsically motivated runner might be driven by the desire to win a medal, impress their friends, or gain recognition. They might envision the applause at the finish line or the admiration of their peers. They might push themselves hard in training, but their motivation might dwindle if the reward feels out of reach or loses its appeal. The initial excitement can wear off, leaving them feeling exhausted and disheartened. An intrinsically motivated runner, however, finds joy in the act of running itself. They are driven by an internal desire to improve and enjoy the process. They relish the feeling of their body moving, the challenge of pushing their limits, and the sense of accomplishment after a long run. The journey itself becomes the reward, making every step meaningful. This type of motivation is more likely to endure through the inevitable challenges of marathon training. The difference is crucial. When faced with obstacles, the intrinsically motivated runner finds strength in their passion and commitment. Extrinsic motivation is like a sugar rush, a quick burst of energy that fades quickly. It can provide a temporary boost but often lacks staying power. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, is like a slow-burning fire, providing sustained warmth and energy over the long haul. It fuels a consistent and enduring drive, helping runners stay committed and passionate throughout their journey. Research has consistently shown that intrinsic motivation is a more powerful and sustainable driver of achievement than extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within, driven by personal satisfaction and the joy of the activity itself, rather than external rewards or pressures. In one classic study, children who were rewarded for drawing were less likely to draw on their own later, compared to those who weren't rewarded. This study highlights the delicate balance between encouraging behavior and inadvertently stifling natural interest. This suggests that external rewards can actually undermine intrinsic motivation. When children start to expect rewards, their focus shifts from the joy of drawing to the anticipation of the reward. This phenomenon is called the over-justification effect. It occurs when an external incentive decreases a person's intrinsic motivation to perform a task. When we're rewarded for activities we already enjoy, we tend to attribute our behavior to the reward rather than our own internal drive. This shift in perception can be subtle but significant. This can diminish the enjoyment we derive from the activity itself, making us less likely to engage in it in the future. The activity that once brought joy now feels like a chore. So how do we cultivate this powerful intrinsic motivation? It involves creating an environment that supports autonomy, competence, and relatedness. It starts with finding activities that resonate with our values and interests. When we engage in tasks that align with our personal goals and passions, we naturally feel more motivated. When we're passionate about what we're doing, the motivation often follows naturally. Surrounding ourselves with supportive communities and setting meaningful goals can further enhance this intrinsic drive.